SVR IAS Academy welcomes you to the Target IAS 2016 online video lectures. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. In today's current affairs video lecture, you will see many important topics. Today's date is February 28, 2016. Let's start today's current affairs video lecture. Now let's start our today's current affairs with INS Arihant. At present, INS Arihant is undergoing final trials in the Bay of Bengal. INS Arihant is 6,000 ton weight and 110 meters long. 110 meters long and 6,000 ton weight. Arihant Sanskrit meaning is slayer of enemies. Slayer of enemies. Have you heard about a word nuclear triad? Nuclear triad means a country has a power to launch atomic weapons from land, sea and air. If India completes INS Arihant, and India will become a nuclear triad power. India plans to have 4 such submarines by the year 2020. The countries which already have nuclear armed submarines are USA, UK, France, Russia and China. INS Arihant is India's first nuclear armed submarine. If INS Arihant is successfully launched, means India will become 6th country in the world to possess a vessel capable of launching nuclear warhead from the underwater. INS Arihant is a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine. From the submarine, ballistic missiles can be launched. INS Arihant can be fitted with 12 short-range K-15 missiles. K-15 missile is a short-range ballistic missile, or you can say 4 K-4 ballistic missiles can also be fitted. China and India have no first-use policy on nuclear weapons. China and India have no first-use policy on nuclear weapons. India and China believe nuclear armed submarines as a deterrence aimed at preventing the outbreak of war. The plus point with the INS Arihant is it is harder to detect than India's nuclear weapons platform on the land and air. So INS Arihant gives India a second strike capability. What do you mean by second strike capability? As already we discussed, India has no first use policy on nuclear weapons. If any enemy country attacks on Indian nuclear arsenal in a first strike and destroy all the nuclear weapons that we have in the land, we have nuclear weapons in the submarines. So we can launch nuclear weapons from the submarine, that is INS Arihant, as a second strike. So it is a meaning of first strike and second strike. That's all about this topic. To get complete video lecture on nuclear deterrence, first strike, second strike capabilities and complete features of INS Arihant, visit our website ComeOnIndia.com. Now let's discuss about Fiber20 Rule in Indian Airlines. Fiber20 rule is a norm under which an Indian airline must be 5-year-old. Indian airline must be 5-year-old, and second condition is that Indian airline must have 20 planes in its fleet. Indian airline must have 20 planes in its fleet. If any Indian airline satisfies these two criteria, then it becomes eligible to start overseas flights. If any Indian firm is not satisfying these two criteria, then it is eligible to run the plane within India, but to become an overseas flight, the airline must fulfill these two conditions. One is 5-year-old age criteria, and second one is 20 planes. Why the topic Fiber20 Rule is in the news? Government of India is planning to scrap Fiber20 Rule. The main issue around 5 years age limit. If any person or starts airline with requires all the conditions, but he has to wait for 5 years to start international flights. So government is planning to scrap this age criteria and going to prescribe only the minimum number of fleets required to start the overseas flight. Have you heard about another concept called as route dispersal guidelines? Route dispersal guidelines. As you know, domestic flights runs in the profitable route and non-profitable routes. Always airlines prefer profitable routes. If there is no guidelines or restrictions, almost all airlines prefer only the most profitable route. Then what about the remote unprofitable sectors, especially in the Port Blair, northeastern regions, Jammu and Kashmir? So, route dispersal guidelines are issued under which certain percentage of flights deployed on the profitable route have to be flown in the remote and unprofitable sectors in Jammu and Kashmir, northeastern region and Port Blair. Government of India is preparing a draft civil aviation policy and it may be expected soon. Once the draft policy is released, we'll discuss in our separate video lecture. Now, let's discuss about Bagmara mine. Bagmara mine, which came in the news recently. The topic is important for prelims examination. Why it came in the news recently? Vedanta Limited is a UK-based firm, won India's first ever auction of a gold mine. So, Bagmara mine is located in Chhattisgarh. Bagmara mine is located in Chhattisgarh and is a gold mine. For the first time, gold mine was auctioned in India and it was owned by Vedanta Limited. What is the main objective of auctioning the gold mine? It will help to curb overseas purchase of the gold. Recently, India opened up gold mining sector to the private players. Recently, Government of India has taken many steps to reduce the import of gold. Like recently, government raised import duties on gold. Second, Government of India launched 3 important schemes like gold monetization scheme, India gold coin and gold sovereign bond schemes, which will help to reduce the import of gold so that we can reduce the current account deficit further. As you may aware, India is the second biggest consumer market for gold. In the world, India is the world's second biggest consumer of gold. So in this background, we advise you to remember all important prelims point in this topic, like Bagmara mine, which is located in Chhattisgarh. It is a gold mine. For the first time in India, a gold mine is auctioned. The contract owned by Vedanta Limited, and India is the world's second biggest consumer of gold. Let's discuss briefly about India's export to US. As you know, India exports food items, pharmaceuticals to US. In the food export, the top three products are seafood, then second spices, and third rice. So among the food exports from India to US, top three ranked items are seafood, spices, and rice. What about pharmaceutical products from India to US? US Food and Drug Administration regulates and monitors the exports from India to US. In recent years, India's export of generic drugs to US increased tremendously. For that, US Federal, or you can say US Food and Drug Administration, increased the office in India to maintain the checks, or number of inspections also increased. US introduced a law, or you can say act, called as Food Safety Modernization Act. Food Safety Modernization Act, under which US works with all stakeholders like food manufacturers, exporters, and it gives regulatory framework for exporting foods and items to the US. So we strongly advise you to study about branded drugs versus generic drugs, how and when generic drugs can be produced, how generic drugs differ from branded drugs, and so on. To get the video lecture on this topic, visit our website comeonindia.com. As you know, recently Economic Survey 2015-16 launched, and Economic Survey gives many recommendations to increase the tax base. Tax base means percentage of people who pay tax. Out of 120 crore people in India, how many pays tax? It is called as tax base. At present, agricultural income is exempt from income tax. It is an important prelims point. At present, agricultural income is exempted from income tax. In India, at present, only about 5.5% of earning individuals are in the tax net. Only 5.5% of the earning individuals are in the tax net. Economic Survey recommends to the government that government should not raise the income tax exemption limit in the budget. And also, Economic Survey pitches for taxing the well-off across agriculture, industry, services, and real estate. Economic survey also calls for better utilization of public resources and better targeting of subsidies. The benefit is that if the subsidies are targeted better, then it will assure the citizens who are paying the tax that public resources are not being wasted, and it will make them more willing to pay taxes. Economic survey also calls for phasing out tax exemptions which are given to the corporate sector. Tax exemptions means it leads to the redistribution towards rich private sector. Economic survey also calls to develop property taxation. That's all about this topic, and thank you for watching the current affairs online video lecture. To get more video lectures, visit our website commonindia.com. All the best.